It is connecting, and hopefully, Karen, we have you here. Hi, this
Hi,
worked. Hi, lovely to
hi.
have you over here. Thank you so much for your
Oh,
patience.
it's fine. There's probably some fairies in the computer.
Yes, there were probably some fairies talking about divine timing, that it has to be exactly 3 p.m. over here for us to start. Oh, you're looking absolutely lovely, Karen. I love your hair.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. And you
Yes.
look beautiful as well. It's so lovely to actually see you and talk to you.
Thank you so much. I know. So I want to tell you the story behind your deck, how it came to me first, before we get on to the interview. So I want to show you guys, the artwork is beautiful. So this is Ginger Kelly, right? She's the one who designed this for you as well. So guys,
Yeah.
this is her, these are her cards. Okay, and these are fairies, which I find absolutely beautiful. And just look at the, the texture, and I mean, they're absolutely gorgeous. And I bought this deck from Amazon, just before lockdown, so I'm really lucky. And Karen, the words, I'm speechless. They're absolutely beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thank
So
you so
guys,
much.
before we start, this is the Oracle of Fairies. Okay, once Amazon starts delivering, you guys can order this. And she has different messages. So, the different things, a card of the day or anything you want to pull out, you can just pull out a message for yourself. Great. So, so yeah, I thought let's get started. So Karen, first of all, tell me, how are you doing in the UK? Like, I know the situation is really bad with the lockdown and, the whole virus thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm in a little bit of my own fairy bubble actually because
Okay.
I spend a lot of time in what you would call, now it's called self-isolation. Well, I spend a lot of time just being in self-isolation, so it's not really that
Yeah.
different for me. The only
Yeah.
difference is I've noticed is that there are hardly anybody, in the streets or in the shops. It's very, very empty. There's a
Yeah.
sense of peace, and the sky is really clear because there's no aeroplanes, and there's
Right.
just a silence, and the sky is clearer in the evening as well. You can see the stars and the moon. It's really beautiful. I
Yeah.
do feel, as an empath, I do feel the panic that people feel about this virus, and it's all
Yeah.
changed very suddenly. It's all very different for people. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm kind of saying to people, if you can't go out, then go within
Go
and
within.
find that
Yes.
peace within, because it's different for a lot of people who are used to being very active and busy all the
Of
time.
course. Of
But
course.
for me, it's kind of okay because I do tend to
You do
enjoy the
that.
stillness anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a lot like me. So a lot of my routine, a lot of my work is from home. So not much has changed for me. In fact, I'm actually more active online. But I
Yeah.
get what you're saying about the slowing down. It's so, so important for us to slow down. And as you said, everyone's so busy working. I think this is really Mother Earth. Do you think this is like an awakening? Like this had to
Oh,
happen from
yeah,
an
I
intuitive
think
point of
so.
view?
Yes, yeah, definitely. I mean, the fairies are quite happy that they've got their space back, and the earth has had
Wow.
the chance to replenish, and all the pollution, it's all slowed right down, and we're kind of going back to basics in a way, but equally, we're very, very lucky. I feel very blessed to be in a situation where I have a roof over my head, I have food in my belly,
Absolutely.
I have access
Absolutely.
to talking to beautiful people around the world like yourself, and we have
Yeah.
the luxury. It's a luxury and a blessing to have the internet and the communication. So
Oh, that's a
um,
huge, that is
yeah,
important.
I'm so
Yeah.
grateful actually for, that I can click a button and a vehicle will come and bring me food, and that
Oh,
is
wow. So that's how it is in the
luxury.
UK.
Well,
Okay.
you can. I mean, it can take a long time to get the delivery slots now because everybody
Yeah.
wants it. But
Yeah.
it's like that, yeah. Or you click a button, then you can just drive by and they put the food
Okay.
in your car, and it's
Okay.
very. We're very lucky, very lucky.
Okay. So that's great. So let's get on with the interview. Thank you guys for being here. I've got Karen Kay over here. She's the author of Hay House,
Yes,
right?
Hay House.
Hay
Yeah,
House author, and also the author of this Oracle of Fairies. Okay, I absolutely love this oracle. So I want to say that I work with angels, and I've come across for the first time somebody who works with fairies. And I think that's amazing because this takes me back to my childhood when I used to believe in fairies, and one second, and the tooth fairies. So I think this is just something that I absolutely loved and I was very drawn to your deck. So let's start with the questions if you're ready.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Okay, so my first question is, how long have you been doing this? Like, you're an oracle reader and an empath. So how long have you
Yeah.
been?
Well, I suppose I've come out into the public realm a little bit more over the last few years, but I've actually been working in this way for many years. And my
Okay.
first interactions with fairies started when I was a young child, and I've always had that connection. I've also
Okay.
I organise events where I bring people together, and I've founded communities of people, like-minded and like-hearted people
Wow.
who come together. And
Yeah.
but I've always kind of, in the past, I've hidden my light. And then over the last few years, I knew that it was my ego that was saying, no, you can't put yourself out there. But I do have something to share with the world now,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
I'm coming out. So it's been, maybe the last 2-3 years that I've actually come
Sure.
out in the public eye to do this.
Sure. I get that. I think I get the whole thing of, us being intuitive and holding it within us because I also relate to what you're saying. And then
Yeah.
coming out finally when the time is right to share your gifts with
Yeah,
everyone else. Okay, so that's wonderful. I love your vibe. So I pick up on vibrations. I can actually sense a lot of energy and vibrations from you, and you're such a calm person. So I want to tell you that as well. I think it's
thank
amazing.
you.
You have amazing vibrations. Guys, don't you feel that? She has amazing vibes. So, okay, my next question to you was okay, this is important. What inspired you to make this deck, this beautiful deck?
Okay, so ultimately the fairies inspired me to create. The angel just fell over there.
Oh,
Whoopsie.
wow. They're
This is
excited.
my
They're excited.
angel with a golden heart, because I work with
Wow.
angels too, actually. So
Wow.
I've been working with angels for many years. But yeah, the fairies inspired me, and I'm a passionate environmentalist. I love the planet. I love our Mother Earth.
Wow.
And because of that love, I feel like the fairies came closer to me and wanted to share their message through me. And I
Yeah.
know that there are many other people in the world who are also sharing the message of the fairies. I'm not the only one, but I have my own intimate connection with them, and I've had a
Yeah.
lot of communication with them. I see them, I sense them, and they were just inspiring me with all of these messages that they wanted me to share. So I actually started writing the deck before I got a publishing deal, because I
Oh,
knew
wow.
that it would come into the world. And then slowly all of these fairy doors kept opening, these magical fairy doors, and I ended up being offered the publishing deal with Hay House, and I'm very
Wow.
grateful for that. And
Yeah.
that's how the deck came to be.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. So, like, you see how these things happen. And I believe this is the law of attraction. Karen had a vision. Karen had a vision that she so wanted to share with the world. She was focused and she worked on it. And, Hay House, which is such an amazing big company, just kind of came and fell in her lap. And now I've connected with Karen in the sense there's so many other fairy, people who connect with fairies, but somehow you came up. So you and I are meant to be having this conversation today. I really
Yes.
feel that.
Yes. I
Yeah.
feel that because you, like you say, you work with the angelic realm, and I
Yeah.
work with angels and fairies, and I think a lot of people don't see the connection, but actually angels have their divine job, if you like, and fairies have their divine job, and they're completely different. Some people call fairies earth angels or nature angels, but
Sure.
fairies are not angels. They're their own kind of being, if you like, and their job is purely to be guardians of the earth, and that's what their job is. And while as we're in a human body living on this earth, I feel like it's important for us not to worship them, but to acknowledge the work that they do for
That
us,
they're
and
doing.
we can
Yeah.
actually help them and work in harmony with them.
Okay. So that comes to my next question, actually. The difference between fairies and angels, and is there a different way to connect with them?
Yeah, I feel that there definitely is. Obviously, you're the angel expert in this
I don't know about
conversation.
expert, but yeah, I've been working with them, so I'm grateful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you work with angels, I work with
Yeah.
them too, but for the purpose of this conversation and the
Sure.
fairies, when you want to connect with fairies, then ideally, although I'm not sure how possible it is at the moment with the lockdown, the world lockdown, it is to go out into nature. And if you're lucky to have a garden or a space where you can be in isolation, to actually be in nature. And if not, you can go on the computer and look at pictures of trees and nature. And you can connect in that way, because you know, many of us know the power of the intention of our minds.
Absolutely.
So, and we can visualize, even if we're sitting in our home, in our lounge, just visualizing that we're out in nature. Imagine the tree behind you, connecting, feeling the energy of the tree. And when you connect to the tree, that is also part of the fairies' domain, if you like. So the fairies are in this natural realm, and so you can just call to them. You can say, fairies, I'm here, I would love to meet you. They can be quite wary of humans because of the way humans treat the planet. Not present company excluded.
No, I completely get that. Human beings can, be quite harmful in a way, actually.
Yeah, exactly. So fairies can be wary, and that's why a lot of people say fairies are at the bottom of the garden, because they're hiding. They're hiding away from humans. Because humans don't always respect the land, but lots of us do respect the land. And when they feel that, because they will scan you with their energy telepathically, they can scan your energy the same way when we connected, you could scan me through this. So the fairies work in a similar way, and they will scan you to see, does this person love nature? Is this person kind to the environment? Is this person kind to animals? And so on and so forth. So they can see in your auric energy field where you are, where you're at, if you care, if you're sensitive, if you're an empath. And they're very likely to draw closer if you are of a more gentler nature, and that you have that respect and honor for the earth.
Okay, so that comes to my next question. I'm very curious. So say everybody is not like you and I. I'm not saying that everyone is negative or a bad person. Maybe someone doesn't like animals, someone doesn't know how to respect nature. So is there a way for them to lift that vibration to connect with the fairies or the angelic energy?
Yeah, definitely. There's always a way, as you know as well. Where there's a will, there's a way. And when you have love in your heart, anything is possible. Anything is possible.
So love is the first thing.
Yeah, miracles happen all the time. And for somebody who wants to connect with fairies, who's thinking, well, what can I do? What can I do? Well, you can show it in very practical ways. So, for example, if you're if you're cleaning your home and the chemicals in your household products, you can change them for more natural products. And if you go out and you see some litter, then you can pick up the litter and tidy it away, throw it, just show in a practical way, show that you care and love the planet.
And you're more mindful of the planet.
Yeah, definitely, because the fairies, remember, their job, they are guardians of the earth, so their first job is to care and protect the planet. So if they see us as humans doing the same, they will be curious and happy that we're doing that, and they'll be more inclined to kind of draw forward to us.
Okay, that's wonderful, Karen. Thank you so much for sharing that. I just want to tell my viewers, whoever stays over here, please, any questions you have for Karen, you can address that at the end of the session. I just have a few more questions for her, and then you guys can write them in the comments below. Anything that you want to ask her, anything about fairies, angels, she's all yours today. So Karen, the other thing I have is, so you told me how you came up with the deck and things. Now, about this designer, how did you work in tandem with her to come up with this deck? Can I ask how you guys sort of work together?
Yeah, it will basically, Ginger Kelly lives in Australia and I'm in the UK, so we never actually physically met.
Oh, wow. But everything is on the internet.
Yeah, I saw her work and I just fell in love with her style and the way she represented fairies. And usually when you're creating an oracle deck, you would write down the vision that you have, and it might be a few lines or something. Well, I was writing reams and reams because the fairies were kind of inspiring me. This must go in, this must go in, you must have this, must have this. And if you look at the cards, some of them, that there are very tiny details in there that are all very meaningful and important. And I thought that Ginger might be a bit overwhelmed with some of the the ideas, but she said she loved it, and we worked very well together. And she really understood and felt that connection and the vibe that was coming through me from the fairies. So that was wonderful.
Okay, that's wonderful. So you guys really gel together. So as I said, when you're meant to connect with somebody, you know, it just happens at the right time.
Yeah,
it does.
It definitely does.
It
Yeah,
definitely
it does.
does. Okay. And I want to ask you, Karen, are you intuitive? Like, are you psychic? Do you feel like
Yes.
you are? So,
Yeah,
in the sense,
I
can you
definitely am. I'm
please go
very
ahead?
intuitive, very, very intuitive.
Okay.
And that's been with me all of my life. I've always felt, but I didn't know what it was until I got older. So I get hunches, and the kind of older that I've got in human years, I trust my intuition a lot more, because it tends to be, sometimes I'll get an intuition or an instinct about something and it doesn't make sense, but I know that it comes from a place within my solar plexus. I can feel it in there. And it's a different type of feeling. It's very subtle, but I've learned to recognize that and to act on that, and it's never failed. Actually, it always serves me well.
That's amazing. So, you know, I'm talking about intuition. I teach this, you know, in my workshops as well, because I'm also still learning also. Like, I do trust my intuition a lot, but it's like you talk about the solar plexus. It's a gut feeling in your stomach. So for everyone who's listening, it's like something that stems from here, and it's like literally a millisecond. So either you act on it or you don't. And a lot of the times, Karen, for me, what happens is if there's a voice in my head and it says, you know, Devina, you have to do this, and I don't do it, the actual outcome, what I thought would happen, happens. So in the sense, had I followed my intuition, I would have been where I wanted to be. But I didn't follow it, so I end up on the wrong side. So that's what it is, right? Like if you follow your intuition, you end up on the right side most of the time.
Yeah, definitely. And also, I feel like I want to say that
yeah,
there are no mistakes either. So it's part of our learning, our evolution as humans. So we can choose. We have the free will and the choice to choose to follow that intuition, that instinct, that divine guidance, whatever you want to label it. We do have that choice. And like you say, it's just like a split second where you know, and you can choose to ignore or to act on it.
Absolutely.
But whatever we do, as long as it's for the highest good of all and no one is harmed, we can't really make any mistakes in life, because it's like a big learning ground as well.
Yeah. No, actually, that's very beautiful what you just said. That as long as it doesn't harm anyone, it's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. And I want everyone to know that, because I think everyone's very hard on themselves. You know, they said that we have to do things a certain way. It has to be according to society. It's better to make mistakes, because that's how you learn. So long as you're not harming another animal, human being, or anything, you know, it's okay to make mistakes.
Yeah, I really agree with that. And you know what? There is no such thing as true perfection, unless you say, I will say, I am perfectly imperfect. So we don't have to aspire to be this perfect ideal that we often see in the media, or we think we should be like something. All we have to do really is to truly be ourselves, and we're all individuals, like a field of wild flowers. They're all different flowers, but which one is better than another? None. No flower is better. We're all different, unique, beautiful, with our own beautiful colours, and just shining out in a light. And that's what makes the world so wonderful, because of we're all so unique and different.
Oh, that's really beautiful, Karen. I feel like you're channeling right now. I feel like you're channeling messages for people, because that is beautiful. I get a lot of people who come to me and they're comparing themselves, you know, social media. Sorry, I'm moving away from our conversation, but there's so much comparison and competition, and people go into depression because they're not good enough compared to anyone else. And I keep telling people, even myself, actually, you're unique. So your gifts are unique. You're adding value to your family and people who love you. So, but just by being on earth, you're adding value, and that's enough.
Definitely. And social media, you know, like, people show their best selves. We all do it. I do it.
So
yeah, sometimes I'll show a video of me, you know, I walk in, my son will film me in slow motion, and then I'll trip over, and I put that on because we all trip over in life, you know.
Yeah,
We're not
yeah.
all perfect. And
That's real life.
yeah, it's good to be able to laugh at ourselves as well in a nice way, and just
Yeah.
accept that we have, when nobody is perfect, that, you know, especially on social media, because there are so many filters and things that you can do to make yourself look so amazing, and
So true.
it's a virtual world, and that's, it's fine for people who want to do that. There's nothing
Sure.
wrong with that, but
Sure.
when we compare ourselves, that's when it can become challenging, because it can make you feel unworthy and inadequate, and that isn't a good place to be in.
Absolutely, absolutely. You have such beautiful insights, Karen. Honestly, you've said all the right things today and everything that my viewers actually need to hear today.
Oh,
So my
thank
one
you.
question to you is, do you do readings? Do you do readings with your oracle
um,
cards?
yes, I do. I tend to, I've been recording videos where I do
Okay.
readings, but I do Skype readings as well, because people were
Okay.
asking me. I never used to do readings because, well, when I used to do them a long time ago, I picked up on so much energy from people that I didn't know
Yes.
how to separate myself, but I've
Sure.
learned over the years how to do that separation and protection. So
Yes.
now I am in a position where I can offer readings for people. I
Readings to
do it on
people.
Skype
Okay.
and the telephone. So yeah, I do that as well.
That's wonderful. I think shielding for us light workers is really important. I was struggling with that as well until I learned over the years how to shield myself from negative energy because it's
Yeah,
very draining. And I
yeah,
normally don't do more than 3 to 4 a day anyway because you
yeah,
can't take in so much energy. It's very important to
yeah,
shield yourself from that as well. Okay,
definitely.
Karen. What else? You explained about fairies. You said they're keepers of the earth. They, look after the planet, and this is their duty. And right now, they're kind of celebrating in a way where they're like, the earth is just unreal. It's beautiful. I
Yeah,
mean, we have a blue sky in India, which we've never seen a sky like
yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah. It is. I mean, nature is glorious and celebrating at the moment. The
Yeah,
birds have a different song. I can hear the birds.
so true.
Nature is just continuing, but is probably maybe confused, maybe not, because it's natural for nature to be like this. It's just that humanity comes in and does all these things that have just got more and more out of control and out of proportion
Yeah,
with nature, and we need to come back into balance, and
I
that's what
so
it's
agree.
about. And
That's what
nature will always find a way, and I think this situation is also showing us
yeah.
that nature is the boss, you know, like
Yes,
whatever you want to say,
absolutely.
like that divine light source, God, goddess, whatever word, whatever label you want to put on this divine creator or the
Yes.
creation of all of this, that is the ultimate boss of us.
That is the cost.
and
Absolutely.
and it's also a part of us, so when this is all in balance, we feel that inner balance as well. So
Yes.
even though it is a scary time for many people because it's uncertain, and people like to know, I'm doing this tomorrow, I'm going to